You're inside the Power Hour. I'm your host, DJ Larry Jones, a.k.a. Mr. Important. If you don't know me, then you don't know anybody. Now, I have a very special guest on the line, and she's worked with some of the best in gospel music, and she has the voice of 10,000 angels all singing in unison. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lejuene Thompson.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And
thanks for asking.
First off, let me thank you for calling in.
Oh, yes, my pleasure.
Okay, now you have an amazing voice. How old were you when you first started singing?
Well, from what I'm told, they told me I started singing and talking at 9 months old. And then professionally, I started at the age of 12 years old with Pastor John P. and I did my first national recording. So it's been a while.
Wow.
For over 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first song you ever sang?
Yes, I do. It was The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow. Well, let me go back. The first song I sang in front of an audience, I remember singing Michael Jackson, I Want to Be Where You Are. That was one of my first favorite songs, and I remember singing that as a kid. So that's the first song I sang and the first song I sang professionally.
Now, did you have all of those fancy runs back then? Did you have that much control at that early age?
Oh, no way. No way. Nah, I'm still working on that control thing.
No, I mean, wow. Like I said, you have the voice of 10,000 angels all singing in unison. Beautiful, beautiful voice.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm still working, though. It's always a work in progress.
Right. Now, before you got started in gospel, have you ever thought about, you know what, I want to try R&B? You ever thought about that?
Yes, I have. I actually, you know what, I've sang with, had the opportunity to sing with Anthony Hamilton. We sang some other, sets where we would go into clubs and things. So it's, it's a bit of a variety of things. But yeah, I did consider it at one time, but I knew that wasn't going to be for me.
Right. Now,
yeah,
one of my favorite gospel songs of all time, John P. Key and New Life, featuring James Fortune, Isaac Carey, and yourself. You Don't Know My Story. Wow. Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How did that whole collaboration come about?
You know what? Pastor Key is he's a genius at putting voice together and writing and all of that stuff. All I know is we were doing a series of sessions with him, and I remember when he started singing, because he worked at night, all night long. It was an all-night session, and I remember around 4 o'clock in the morning, I was pretty much literally sleepwalking. And he started feeding us the lyrics. And when we got to the lyric, Can't Imagine, I had to stop singing because I was in tears. So he was putting it all together, and he, everything just fell into place. Once I heard the final piece where he added James Fortune, and then Isaac is my homeboy. We grew up together, same elementary schools and all of that. I've known him for years, since I can remember. I was just blown away at the finished product. I was blown away putting it together, but at the finished product, I was like, wow, This is incredible.
Yeah, that's really serious. And it hits home for, everybody it should hit home for, because you don't know everybody's story. You know what I mean? Nobody knows your story, but
you really don't. You really don't. Yeah, that's amazing. And that's the awesomeness of God, that people can survive things and still, share their stories with victory. It's just awesome.
Now, you've been in business for a while, in the music business for a while, and your husband, Cedric Thompson, is also in the music business, right? He's a producer?
Yes, he's a producer. He's got 2 Grammys, a couple of Stellas, couple of Dove Awards,
right.
couple of Dove Awards and things.
Now, does he do most of your production work, or if not all of it?
He does.
Now, you guys have your own label as well, right?
Yeah, we have our own label. It's C Entertainment.
Okay. Anybody we know on the roster? Anybody we should look out for?
Just myself. Our son does a lot of production as well. His name is CJ Thompson. He's Cedric Jr. He's currently playing with the Migos. He plays with Leela James. He plays with BB Wine sometimes. So he's up and coming, and he's doing his thing. So he's doing some of the production as well.
So it's music all in the family, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Now, you have a new project out?
Well, I have one coming out. I have a new single that's out. It's called, My Offering. And it's centered around, as a teenager, I suffered with teenage depression. So, and upcoming May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I try to raise as much awareness about depression and fear and things that we struggle with, because it's really not a topic that we talk about in the Black community, and even further in the Black church, about fear, depression, anxiety, and all of that. So that song is pretty much centered around starting that conversation about, you know what, it's okay to say that you're a Christian or to live as a Christian and you still have an issue. And a lot of times we disregard the issue and say, well, it's just I'm not feeling at my best today or whatever. But when it's, you know, it's not seasonal and it lasts for two or more months, then there's a problem and you need to talk about it or try to get some help. So that single, My Offering, is I wrote it because of my experience and to start that conversation. You know, if you need help, get it. It's okay. You know, prayer works, but sometimes you need to talk to somebody.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Now, you know what? It's funny you say that because I've been working with, I don't know if you're familiar with Fonda Bryant, Johnny Taylor. Remember the old school singer, Johnny Taylor?
Yes, I do.
Right. Well, I've been working closely with his daughter with mental health and awareness and stuff like that because she suffered from it. And I interviewed her, and her story was like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe her story. And so it's funny you say that, you know what I mean? So yeah, so I definitely will support that song, definitely.
Thank you.
Well, I'll support anything you do. I mean, like I said, you're just amazing.
I appreciate the support. Oh yeah, most definitely.
And I also want to thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you for having me.
And don't be a stranger.
Incredible work. All right.
Keep it locked in right here. You're inside the Power Hour. More non-stop commercial-free music coming up.
Lock into the Power Hour every Friday night at 5 p.m. with DJ Larry Jones and Miss Tempest playing your favorite old school hip hop and R&B.